Hey, what's up guys? This is Garrett back with another video on all the things you need to know about being a personal trainer in 2020. And this video specifically, I want to talk about how I studied for my personal training exam and some tips that I could give you that will help you study a little bit better. Okay, so first off, I studied for my ACE exam back in 2013 after I had graduated from UMass Amherst in 2012 with a kinesiology degree. So I already had some good knowledge of exercise physiology, biomechanics, all that stuff that you kind of need to know to be a good personal trainer. And so when I went to study for my ACE exam, I was already very confident in the things I needed to know. That being said, there were still aspects of personal training that I wasn't aware of when I started studying for the test. So here are some of the ways that I best studied personally and best learned the information that I needed to know to pass the exam on the first try. So when I started studying for my personal training exam, I was actually working another job as a valet driver in Boston. And what I did was I would read as much as I could on the way to and from work, and sometimes even at work. My train ride was about a half hour long, so that was like an hour of reading each day. And I read the book from front to back, just so I didn't miss anything. And then what I would do after I completely read the whole book is I would take a practice exam to see where I was, to see how well I knew the information that was throughout the whole book, because chances are if you read something one time through, you're not going to know everything just from reading it once. So I wanted to see and kind of gauge where my knowledge was by taking a practice exam, and then I could go back into the book and study whatever I knew that I needed the most work on. Okay, so once I knew what I needed the most work on, what I would do is, instead of reading on the train, I would just use the Pocket Prep app. Pocket Prep is an app that you can use to study for a whole bunch of different exams, paramedic exams, like there's a ton of different ones, but for personal training specifically, it was for the NASM Test, which is the book I was studying from. So it had a whole bunch of like flashcards, quizzes, just little daily things I could do every single day to sharpen my knowledge on personal training in the exam I was going to take. So I would do that every single day to and from work, and whenever I had free time, really. It made it really easy to make sure I was still studying every single day. It definitely helped that I got hired to be a personal trainer before I took my test, and I did get a little bit of experience under my belt. So I would suggest that you, even before you actually get your cert, you try to get some experience under your belt. Train friends, family, whoever you can find that will let you train them for free, and just work on all the things that you're learning while you're studying, and that will help everything stick a lot better as you're studying for your test. As I started training before I got my cert, it also helped me realize how much I didn't know and how much I needed to work on in terms of my overall knowledge and just working with someone one-on-one. So it really exposes a lot of your weaknesses when you do actually train in a live situation. So I highly recommend you do that, because it will only help to make you better going forward. Now I would take the practice test again, and then I would just continue to do that until I felt really comfortable with every area of the test. I think I only took the practice exam 2 more times right before I took the exam, because I was pretty confident with my knowledge. But I mean, you could repeat that process as many times as it takes to make sure you actually know all the concepts that you're going to need to know for the exam. Okay, so now that I told you how I studied personally for my exam, I want to go over a couple of things that I would do differently in today's day and age that I think would really benefit anyone trying to get their certified personal training certificate right now in 2020. So the first thing that I would do differently in 2020 if I was going to get my certified personal training certificate is I would have utilized YouTube a lot more. There's so much to learn on YouTube. Chances are if you have a question about it, YouTube will have an answer for it, and there's probably an abundance of information on whatever subject that you need to know. So I would definitely utilize YouTube a lot more in my studying, and I think that would help speed up the learning process a lot. The second thing that I would do differently is I would have practiced programming a lot more. I didn't really think that it was going to be a big deal if I didn't know how to program right away. And like, knowing what I know now, I wish I had gotten good at it right off the bat. I wish I had focused on it from the very beginning, and I think that if I had done that, I would be a much better programmer today, 7 years later, because even after 7 years, there's always things that I still question myself about sometimes. Things that I probably could have learned a long time ago if I had just started practicing programming when I first started personal training. And it is a little bit tedious at first. It's difficult because you're just figuring things out, but I'm telling you, it will be absolutely worth it if you put in the time and effort to practice programming right from the get-go. It's going to make a huge difference for your business, for your clients, for the results that they're seeing, and for your overall ease of operating in a session. And I think it's just really important that everyone practices their programming from the very beginning. So that's the other thing that I would do differently. And the third and final thing I would do differently is I would read a lot more books. I was never big into reading anything that didn't have to do with personal training, but I also just never thought to pick up books outside of my certification book. You know, I loved reading about the human body, but I never thought to look up the leaders in the industry and read the books that they've read, as well as books outside of the realm of personal training, because there's so many parts that are necessary in being a successful personal trainer, like sleep, mindset, nutrition, all those things that play a role in how successful your clients are going to be with a program. I would have done a lot more research on those other factors that would help me improve the quality of my client's experience. I would have even read more books just on biomechanics or exercise physiology. Anything that could have helped my client, I would have wanted to get my hands on to start reading. And nowadays in 2020, we have a lot of different podcasts as well that you can utilize that will help you learn about all the different areas and variables necessary to have a successful workout program. Like, some of the podcasts that I like to listen to are Just Fly Performance and Nike Train podcast. There's just a lot of good information out there, and you have to utilize as much of it as you can if you want to be the best trainer that you possibly can be. Even the people that have been in the industry for 20 years are still learning. So especially at the beginning, you have to focus on educating yourself. Invest your time in teaching yourself as much as you can if you want to be a really successful trainer. I was a very inexperienced trainer when I started. I had zero experience actually, and I had zero confidence, and I was just kind of thrown into the fire. But I had a lot of passion for my job. I absolutely loved what I did. I absolutely loved being at the gym, so I was there as much as I could, and I was hungry to learn as much as I could. Although I feel like I could have utilized my time even better now looking back. I could have learned even more a lot faster, but that's why I'm making this video, so you can learn from my mistakes and become an even better trainer for yourself. And even with my inexperience before I started, even though I knew I had to learn a lot more, I found that there was nothing more rewarding than helping someone who might have had a bad day when they walked into the gym, and then seeing how their day just instantly gets better after working out, and seeing the reaction to someone who has reached their results, has reached their goals. It's just the most rewarding thing that anyone could ever ask for. So let that be your motivation. Even when it's really difficult at the beginning, just know that you're changing lives and that it's going to be worth it at the end of the day. And the more you put the time in right from the get-go, the more you really focus on improving on yourself, which is something that never really stops. You have to keep the mindset of always trying to improve on yourself. But the more you do it from the very beginning, the easier everything gets, the more rewarding everything gets as you go along, because then your clients will be seeing results faster as you get better, you'll be making more money, everyone's happier, and it's literally the best job in the world once you can find your groove. Thank you. That is all I have for you today. I really hope this video helps. If you do have any more questions, please leave your questions in the comments, or you can reach me on Instagram. Just hit me in my DM. I'll be happy to chat with you and go over any questions that you have. And thanks again, and I'll see you on the next video.